if there's anything that we should be able to agree on on the left between neoliberals and progressives, is the fact that the Trump tax cuts, the Trump Ryan tax cuts need to be stopped at all costs. Megatron must be stopped no matter the cost. That was actually pretty good. Actually pretty good Optimus Prime I just did there. Anyway, we need to stop these tax cuts because it is this tax reform, quote unquote reform. It is fundamentally going to reshape our economy, send us into another recession, and it's going to be perfect. It's like we go through these cycles where we have a Democratic president who's actually a fiscal conservative. He's not going to bring about anything remotely democratic socialist. He's going to just be a good manager of the economy. And he's going to fix the economy within the parameters of republicanism. That's what Bill Clinton did. And just as soon as you get a Democratic president who is a good Republican on the economy, a fiscal conservative, not going to do anything to really shake it up. They're going to do welfare reform. They're going to do all that kind of crap, right? They're going to screw a lot of poor people, but they're going to fix the economy within the framework, the acceptable parameters of the Republican Party. The stock market's going to go up. Unemployment's going to go down, at least the U3, not the true unemployment rate. That's going to go down. You're going to see economic growth. You're going to see new sectors flourishing. You're going to see that underneath a fiscal conservative Democrat. And then as soon as we get done with that, we get a Republican who comes in and just poops on all of that. I mean, and I don't have much vocabulary tonight because I'm tired. So that's all I can say. You got George W. Bush, who comes in, and the first thing he does is he starts a tax plan that is going to be similar to what Donald Trump is going to try to do, but Donald Trump takes it up a whole notch. And then he maintains these tax cuts while he engages in a war. What exactly is Donald Trump getting ready to do after 8 years of Donald Trump, of Barack Obama, rather, being an efficient manager of the American economy based on the standard, the generally accepted accounting principles, right? Actually, that's a very specific thing. But what I meant was the generally accepted measurements of a successful economic president. Barack Obama was efficient in that way. And now we get back to a level of growth and a level of recovery, and we get things cranking based on the generally accepted economic parameters, right? And now you get Donald Trump come in and undermine all of that. And he comes in, and not only is he trying to get us into tax breaks that are going to create or add, I believe, $5 trillion to the deficit, but he's also going to try to get us into a war simultaneously. This is madness. This is madness that is almost a perfect. There's only one exception to this curve, to this graph that I just graphed up of the ups and down between the Democrat who's an efficient economic conservative and a manager of the economy, and a Republican who reigns like a madman. There's only one exception: George H.W. Bush. George H.W. Bush, who actually had the unfortunate privilege of coming behind 8 years of a Republican doing the exact same goddamn thing. Ronald Reagan, tax breaks for everybody. You get a tax break. You get but you're poor people, you don't get a tax break. But rich people, you get a tax break. Richer people, you get a tax break. And we're going to explode our spending on defense. No, we didn't have a hot war. Trying to think, I know we had a couple of proxy wars in there. Obviously, I'm trying to think of any hot war that I can't think of one right now. But he exploded the defense budget, and what did he leave? He left a mess for which HW had to recover from. And so HW broke his campaign promise of read my lips, no new taxes, right? He broke his campaign promise, had to raise taxes to fix the hole that Ronald Reagan left them. And what happened to him? Republicans turned on his ass and he got the boot. Ross Perot came in and he got the boot. So I just gave you kind of a general overview of all the presidents in my lifetime and the entire swing. We go down, we go up, we go to Grenada. Thank you. I knew there was one. Thanks for the chat room. And here we go again. Here we go again with the president who's promising the same thing that Ronald Reagan promised and couldn't deliver on, which is if we cut taxes, we're going to increase tax revenues, and we're going to increase tax revenues because it's going to stimulate growth. Supply side economics has been voodoo economics since George H.W. called it voodoo economics in the 1980 presidential campaign. Unfortunately, he lost. He lost to Ronald Reagan. Chances are he would have done the same damn thing anyway, so I am not going to say unfortunately. But here we are. What is it? 1980 with 30. I guess it's the same age I am. I was born in 80. So 37 years of experimenting with supply side economics. Not to mention all the international data points that we could pull, but 37 years in the United States alone of seeing that it tanks the economy, it leads us into a recession, it explodes the deficits, which inevitably adds to the debt. It does not cause the economy to grow any faster. And we haven't learned the lesson in 37 years. That's because they don't care to learn the lesson. They know it doesn't work. What they want is immediate satisfaction. What they want, they're just like CEOs of corporations who aren't really concerned about the growth of the company in the long run. They're just concerned about meeting their profit goals for the quarter. And so they do insane things for that quarter to make sure that they hit their revenue goals so they can hit their profit goals, undermining the company in the long run. Same exact type of managerial CEO thinking where they don't really care about the long term of the United States. They're really focused on how they can satisfy their shareholders, the top 1%, how they can satisfy them right away. They know these tax cuts that Paul Ryan and the House Republicans passed today. They know the tax cuts that they cut today, that they passed today, or rather the budget that they passed today, which is setting up the tax cuts. This is a 1-2 step. This is a dance for them, right? So today was a passage of the budget because they have to pass the budget before they can do the tax reform. They need to pass the budget because they need to do reconciliation rules. Without reconciliation rules, they really don't have a framework for them to operate in. They're going to create the framework in the Senate for reconciliation rules, which is going to, these rules this time will make it so that the Republican Party will only need 51, a simple majority, to pass tax breaks instead of the 60. And so the Senate can't make a move on that until the House makes a move on that. The House has made the move. They passed the bill today, and now the Senate is going to do their version. They're going to have was it reconciliation? I can't think of the actual name right now, where they're going to merge the two bills, and then the president is going to sign it. The next thing that you're going to see is going to be tax breaks, and they're going to promise you, they're going to promise their people. I mean, how? Here's the thing. I keep asking, how can people keep falling for it? But I've already given the answer. The people that matter to them know that this is not going to work for the American people or the American economy, but it's going to work fabulously for their bottom line. So I need to correct myself and stop lamenting over people who can't see clearly that this is going to hurt them. Because I'm wondering what percentage of Republicans are, we always make fun of poor Republicans in like Mississippi and red states and stuff like that. But I wonder if it's enough of them, which I'm thinking out loud here, guys. Let me think this through with me. And I think I've already answered the question before I get to the question itself. But I wonder if there's a large enough percentage of poor ass Republicans who can turn the tide in the Republican Party if they were wise and understood what was being done to them. In general, I would have to say yes, because most of America's poor as shit. All right, the median income is like what, for 50,000 for a family of four. I'm rusty, but the median income is pretty low, and in red states it's even lower. So the answer, just based on that alone, should be yes. But the people who wield the power in the Republican Party, the people who control the reins of power in their local, those people, obviously, they have to know that this doesn't work. And I think that they have to not care that it doesn't work for the economy and for the average American, because it works for them. I just can't see for the life of me someone with enough political influence in the Republican Party knowing full and damn well that this is going to hurt them economically, voting against their best interest. I still am holding out for this economic idea of a rational actor, an international relations theory idea of a rational actor, that people are going to make rational decisions. Informed people are going to make rational decisions. And I'm going through this with you live on the air because I'm really struggling to think that maybe there are people who know that this is going to hurt them and they're still going to vote for the Republican Party. I know. Maybe I should just keep it simple and say some of them are just dumb as shit. I know, but it still just bothers me to think that people could have all this information and still vote for a party that's going to take food out of their mouths.